Is it like important for the teenagers nowadays to get like interested and be engaged in political issues like since young?
Yeah. I think it's a very good thing because then you can pass your GP. Well, it's good, you know. Seriously, then you'll be reading newspaper. Maybe not because you're reading internet. So, but it's always good to know politics. Why? Depends on how you know it and how you learn about it and how you make a judgment and assess and make a decision, right? Politics is almost like current affairs, but it brings you into critical thinking about issues of the day. And it's not just necessarily talk about, this party against this, and then this personality against this and all that. No, it's not. When my definition of politics and the politics that I hope that you can learn is generally about policies in Singapore, because policies in Singapore are not perfect. And then the buzzword during the election campaigning time was about not perfect, imperfection, right? Everybody talks about everybody is imperfect, we try to do better and engage the ground. So the thing is that why do we want to do that? It's part of politics. It's the process of formulating policies that can resonate with the people and the policies that can work for the country. And how those policies are formulated. You've got both to have foresight and short sight. You've got to have an immediate, medium, and long-term views to a certain policy. Say education. What kind of schools you could build, what kind of curriculum you can have, things like that. Should you have more CCAs? Should you have more time to study? What is it? It's a policy. These are things for you to think about. So if you ask me politics, to me politics for you, and I hope that you could also delve into it and learn more about it, even discuss it, will be from the policy aspect. And when you want to be really interested and get the excitement, then is the election aspect. The electoral aspect gets everybody talking about it, which is which candidate, more controversial than which one is more popular and all that. Then you go Facebook, how many fans and all that. That one is natural. It's almost like comparing stars, But there's a bigger picture from there. Is that how does policy get formulated? And what do all these people, once they get elected, do? What do? They go to parliament to do what? They go to parliament to scold each other or what, Or they go to parliament for show or what? Or sleep or what? No, I don't know. Some people say that, right? So their understanding of politics is that. But nevertheless, whatever aspects of politics, I think is good. I think it's good to learn about it early and all that. I didn't have that privilege. I think I had a chance, but never really interested. Maybe just like many of you. But I'm actually very glad that this election got so many of you interested, and I think I thank the social media and the internet to have created this interest, regardless of whatever outcome for any parties. I think it's very good for the youth. It's good for Singapore, because this country cannot be carried forward by a few people, by a group of people, by a team of people, by an organization. It has to be carried forward by Singaporeans who believes in it, who has a passion for this country and want to do something. And it doesn't matter where you're from, what background you're from. You can be from NYJC, Hwa Chong, RJ, whatever, or RI. You can be from any party. You believe in this country, want to do something. You want to step into politics to do good for Singapore. I think it's great. And Singapore also means Singaporeans. Do good for our fellow Singaporeans. That's my motivation. My motivation of doing this was for our fellow Singaporeans. We have a role. You have a role, next time. Because next time I grow old, you have to carry me. I need home care, all this. Lao kok kok, I have to go somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Teo. My name is Sean from House Executive Committee. Okay. My question is, from your past experience, has there been any instances or situation where you have been placed that you have to stand up against your friends or your moral values or any values that you uphold, that you feel strongly that it is the right decision? And how do you overcome this kind of situations and deal with these delicate situations?
Yeah, many times. Many times in student days, usually not really. When it comes to moral values, a bit sensitive. I don't know who got more moral. But student days, maybe less of it, because it's either you win a game or lose a game. And that was all we were worried about. And most decisions and all that there's a central, either captain, coach, whatever. So I don't really face with that situation. We could actually be aligned on some of this So the challenges are not great during student days. Working, yes. Business-wise, when I was in corporate and I had my own business, then the partners' alignment of thoughts, it usually happens. And but that one itself, the way I think is that anything can be resolved. It's about give and take. So in business, it's hard for a lot of people to give because it talks about money. It talks about a lot of ego. So for someone like me, I usually quite easy on these things. I look at, a lot of times I look at the very long term. I say, no, I just give more. Because it's for the long term. If not, the partnership breaks. When the partnership breaks, you lose more in the long term. You may win some in the short term, but you lose a lot more in the long term. It's very much a policy making tool. A lot of people don't see the long term, but the short term. They say, this is better, let's do this. So it's the same. Did I stand up? Yes, a lot of times. And my thinking, because sometimes within groups, and I wouldn't mention any group, and even till today it's the same. Within groups, we come from different backgrounds, and I come from a background that's not common in those groups. So my perspective usually baffles people, and quite different. Because of that, I try to align my thoughts to what they're saying. So I try to be very receptive and open. But nevertheless, if I believe in something, then I'll just stand up and say, I believe in this, and this is why, and all that. And it happens all the time. But if you really need an example, then I can give you an example that's a bit more public. YOG is one of them. So, okay, you can talk about spending. It's not about the expenditure. It's even bidding for YOG, whether people believe that Singapore can do it. At that time, it wasn't about money. It was about whether Singapore really has got what it takes to bid for this and to be able to host such an event in Singapore. Of course, there are those who said, why even do this? Why even do this? But you know what? Now YOG is over, and it's been a while. The benefit is never ending. First, our athletes, the young athletes, just talk about people, because I believe that we do this a lot for our Singaporeans. Our young athletes, there's so many chances to go overseas now. The football players, an example. The European clubs are looking at all of them. And that's a dream, they are your age. They are your age or even younger than you. Can you imagine they go and play football and study full-time in the UK or Europe or Spain? That's a big dream for a lot of them. N-level students, quite a few are N-level students. It's a big dream. You build dreams for them. You realize it for them. For Singapore, open up more doors in sports. For example, we get people invited to sit on international committee and all that, and a lot of different sports say, can we hold these world championships in Singapore? And there you have more vibrancy in our sports calendar and activity calendar within Singapore. But putting Singapore on world map, that's definite. That one, I don't have to tell you more, the goodwill. And it also depends on how we did the event. We did the event all right. I wouldn't say top marks. I say it's really good enough. And it places us on the world map. I think, to me, it's good enough. So everybody seems to appreciate. You still have detractors in Singapore. You spend so much money when you budgeted so little money. Yeah. So, then you must stand up for what you believe in. So I stand up for what I believe in. What to do? I tried my best. I think this is the amount. We believe that we have to spend the money where it's worth, and we believe that this money has been worth it to place Singapore on the world map, and we believe that this has built Singapore a lot of credibility, of course intangible goodwills as well, and it benefited a lot of people, not just athletes, businesses, because a big part of the money went into small, medium-sized companies of local economy. A big part went in there because you need to organize the event, so you need to give out contracts, and those contracts are actually by Singapore companies, and they actually expanded with experience and they create more jobs. So that's one big thing. Yeah. But end of the day, we still spend below budget. That's okay. But some people still not happy. So we have just keep explaining. And we just have to stand up for what we believe in. That is the best way to just answer your question. Yeah.